life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
As MK Ultra targets, psychopaths, engineering our shared reality. In an era where technology, media, and global power structures increasingly blur the lines between influence and control, the notion that humanity itself serves as the subject of vast, ongoing psychological experiments feels less like fringe speculation and more like a grim diagnosis of modernity. Of MK Ultra in the modern age, MK Ultra, the declassified mid-20th century CIA initiative, sought to master mind control through LSD dosing, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and psychological torture on unwitting subjects. While officially shuttered, its spirit, weaponizing human psychology for dominance, appears to have evolved into subtler, more pervasive forms. Smith argues that today's experiments are not confined to isolated labs or black sites, but encompass the entire human population. Social media algorithms curate dopamine-driven echo chambers. Mainstream narratives shape collective fears and aspirations. Emerging neurotechnologies, such as brain-computer interfaces, promise enhancement while raising the specter of direct neural influence. The psychopaths at the helm, per this view, exhibit a distinctive profile: relentless drive, unburdened by empathy, a talent for compartmentalization, and an insatiable appetite for power. They operate not through brute force alone, but by dictating the Overton window of acceptable thought and the cultural scripts we internalize. From endless wars and financial manipulations to cultural upheavals that atomize societies, the patterns suggest orchestration rather than chaos. A hyper-motivated minority exploits human vulnerabilities, fear, tribalism, distraction, for control. Intelligence alliances and the architecture of power. Segments in the broadcast highlight realpolitik developments, such as expanded U.S. intelligence sharing with Israel, potentially sidelining traditional alliances like Five Eyes. Such moves fuel suspicions of parallel power structures operating beyond public accountability. When intelligence agencies collaborate on data flows and influence operations, the average citizen becomes a node in a vast surveillance and narrative control matrix.
Let me be clear what I believe that we are dealing with here. Administering drugs to people without their knowledge or consent, subjecting humans to psychological torture, and using prisoners and hospital patients as non-consenting research subjects. These are crimes against humanity. The Central Intelligence Agency committed them, and then the director of the CIA was ordering the destruction of evidence. And this program, when it did end, the men who ran it did not cooperate with investigators. They did not come forward. They committed another crime. They destroyed evidence. The documents this task force has reviewed are unambiguous. In January 1973, the director of the CIA, Richard Helms, prepared to leave office. He personally ordered the destruction of MKUltra records. The CIA official document in writing states, over my stated objectives, the MKUltra files were destroyed by the order of DCI Mr. Helms shortly before his departure from office. A separate internal account confirms that Helms telephoned Dr. Gottlieb directly and instructed him to destroy, quote, all files pertaining to drug research and associated activities. Is it in your expert opinion that Jack Ruby and Manson were assets of the intelligence agencies specifically pertaining to MKUltra? Were they MKUltra victims?
Yeah, theoretically, Manson, I've never been able to prove absolutely. Jack Ruby, I believe, this is something else. The Warren Commission investigation, on the Warren Commission was Alan Dulles, the former CIA director, who authorized and ran MKUltra until he was fired by President Kennedy. The liaison to the committee for the CIA, who handled the information coming from the CIA back and forth to the Warren Commission, was Richard Helms, who was a direct supervisor of Jolly West. They knew who West was. They knew that what West was capable of and what they had paid him to do and what he had reported to them that he could do, including inducing mental disorders in people. That was never disclosed to the commission as far as anyone knows. So I believe that West was put in there to keep Jack Ruby from telling his story.
In 1951, the CIA hired Gottlieb and directed him to launch what became MKUltra. Gottlieb believed that in order to find a way to implant a new mind into someone's brain, you first had to find a way to destroy the mind that was in there already. In its search for ways to destroy a human mind and body, MKUltra conducted the most extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been carried out by a US government agency. By any standard, they qualify as medical torture. These experiments took place in prisons, clinics, and safe houses in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, and even in Latin America. When I was researching my book, I found what I think might be the first secret CIA prison or black site. It's a nice chalet in Germany, and the guy who now owns it took me into the basement. He said these were the cells where the MKUltra officers, working side by side with Nazis, carried out those gruesome experiments, which were actually just continuations of the experiments that those Nazis had been conducting just a few years earlier right down the road.
Just for timeline and clarification, these experiments were happening after the Nuremberg trials, correct? So the CIA would have known that these were crimes against humanity.
I looked for an episode in which the Nuremberg doctrines were posted on the wall in some MKUltra or CIA office, and I was never able to find any indication that those Nuremberg principles ever were even consulted, much less obeyed.
What about covering up harmful side effects of vaccines and the role that the NIH has played in that? What do you have to say about that, ma'am?
The U.S. history of human subjects protection has evolved greatly. Numerous research improprieties from the 50s to the 70s in the United States, including the Tuskegee syphilis study, forced Congress to establish formally federally
I'm not asking you about that.
mandated rules.
You know what I'm asking you about? I'm asking you about how NIH handled COVID. Obviously, this is supposed to be a hearing about MKUltra, but when you gave your opening statement, and I don't even know why you were called to this hearing because you didn't offer anything about MKUltra, but since you are here and you're going to defend NIH, I'm going to call you out on it.
That's the most powerful thing I've seen yet.
Do you see now what I'm talking about? When you say that the NIH doesn't have integrity problems and trust issues, did you hear the applause in this room? That should tell you right now that you're pretty tone deaf to what the public thinks about how the NIH handled COVID and the cover-up, not only the funding of it, but the cover-up involved in the aftermath. Can you acknowledge that?
Nazi scientists and documented mind control research lend credence to the idea that ethical boundaries have long been flexible for those in the shadows. Smith's delivery, passionate and map-backed, underscores a global scope. No nation or demographic escapes the targeting. The reality we inhabit, filtered through screens, education systems, and entertainment, is manufactured to maintain compliance. Dissenters face marginalization, while compliant masses receive engineered rewards of comfort and distraction. Transhumanism and the new frontiers of control. Replies to the Post explicitly link this to Neuralink and similar projects. Neuralink equals MKUltra. Brain chips marketed for medical benefit could enable unprecedented access to thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If past MKUltra experiments tested chemical and psychological manipulation, tomorrow's tools may involve direct hardware interfaces. The promise of curing neurological disorders masks deeper risks of authoritarian overreach or corporate exploitation. In a world racing toward AI-augmented cognition, the distinction between voluntary upgrade and subtle coercion blurs rapidly. This aligns with broader dystopian concerns. AI data centers as instruments of societal management, transhumanist ideologies positioning technology as the new god, and geopolitical psyops, UFO disclosures, endless crises serving as distractions. A small elite, possibly exhibiting psychopathic traits amplified by in-group selection, steers these developments, breaking the spell. Awareness as resistance. Recognizing the experiment is the first step toward emancipation. Smith's call resonates as a rallying cry against passivity. Humanity's strength lies in innate resilience, creativity, and capacity for moral reasoning. Qualities psychopaths, by definition, lack in abundance. By questioning official narratives, reclaiming attention from algorithmic feeds, and fostering genuine community, individuals can disrupt the dictated reality. Yet skepticism remains essential. While elite influence and psychological operations are observable, attributing every societal ill to a singular cabal risks oversimplification. Real psychopaths exist in positions of power, and systems reward certain traits. But history also shows incompetence, emergent complexity, and genuine ideological clashes at play. The truth likely resides in a hybrid, deliberate manipulation layered atop structural incentives and human folly. Conclusion. Reclaiming agency in an engineered world. Harrison Smith's analysis paints a chilling portrait, one where the human race endures a diffuse, high-tech, MKUltra successor, orchestrated by a motivated minority of psychological outliers. Whether through legacy intelligence programs, digital surveillance, or neural tech, the goal remains the same: dictating reality to serve the controller's ends. Awakening demands vigilance, critical thinking, and a refusal to outsource our perception. As technology accelerates, so too must our commitment to autonomy. The experiment continues only as long as we remain willing subjects. The path forward lies in rediscovering unmediated human connection, truth-seeking, and the defiant assertion that reality belongs to the many, not the psychopathic few. This essay synthesizes the core themes from the broadcast. For a video script, thumbnail ideas, or expansions, for example, tying into biblical prophecy or specific current events, let me know how you'd like to build on